All right, so this past Sunday we had baby dedication, right? And that was a good time. I think you kind of you had a certain little thing that stood out to you, Scott.
So Brian looked like he had his cheeks sewed to his ears when little E was up there giving the thumbs up.
What did he call it on Facebook? A holy thumbs up.
Holy thumbs up. Yeah, some get.
This is what happens. This is what happens when Brian's not on the podcast. We get to tease him a little bit.
Some get their hands laid on. Some get anointed with oil, and some gets a holy thumbs up.
It was so fun. They're so sweet though, and I didn't know as many of the families because I'm not in the preschool area, but how cool was it just to be able to see these new families coming in, sweet babies. Not all of them were little, and I just love that parents said, I don't care about the time, I care about the reason why. And so that was really cool getting to see just all these families loving on their kids and making sure that the church partners with them. It was really cool.
That's the future of the church right there.
Oh, yeah. And the babies lasted a long time. You had babies didn't start crying until like the end.
Yes.
Moms were crying because of penny jars. Babies were crying because they couldn't get the penny jars. But it all worked out.
That was really
great.
funny. Yeah. Courtney Carter was talking about that. She's like, she finally just let Maddie go because she's like, just give me the pennies. So.
Hey, so VBS is getting closer and closer by the day, so give us a little update on where we are.
No, I'm really excited. So we've been talking to a lot of the leaders, and so I've gotten to meet with Kylie. She's leading worship with us, so it's going to be a live worship experience, and I love that the kids get to just be able to be immersed in that and not just kind of learn like Kids Bop versions. Nothing against Kids Bop, but because I want them to be able to be more participatory in big church, helping them to learn not only these songs, but be able to worship is just going to be the coolest thing. I cannot wait for that. And we've got people coming in to help with missions, and we've got all these things. So we have a lot of great experiences lined up. We still need a couple people to help, and not necessarily lead as far as a teacher, but to help in the classroom to be able to transition maybe, or help kids get from point A to point B. So if you are available to help, I'd love you to help. If you're waiting for me to ask you, this is me asking you, please. But VBS is just going to be so cool. I'm just excited. I really am. And I know that some people are like, yay, VBS, or boo, VBS. It's going to be awesome.
I'm a video game nerd, if you don't know that about me. So
yes.
I'm really excited about
Maverick
this
comes to you for a lot of help. And so
me and Mav get to talk about Zelda.
Yeah.
And I actually have a front license plate that is like Zelda themed I'm waiting to mount on the front of my car. That's how bad I am about this kind of stuff.
Okay, is Zelda an 80s thing? Because we're hitting Pac-Man, we're hitting Pong, we're doing Donkey Kong.
I think Zelda, like the first old school top-down 2D Zelda came out.
To be fair, I can't play any of them. I get lost on a One Direction video game. So
Zelda was like my jam back. I would spend hours playing
Look
Zelda.
at what we're learning about Scott.
Yes.
All right, so what we got coming up this Sunday?
Oh, that would be Grad Sunday.
Grad Sunday's coming up.
Cut.
We are professionals.
Yes.
Grad Sunday's coming up. You had little kindergartners graduating, and then you had babies who are coming into the whole world. And then now we've got high school and college grads being celebrated this Sunday. Obviously near and dear to my heart. It's kind of like a weird thing where I feel like I'm losing them in one sense because they're not going to be some students anymore, my high school grads. But then it's really cool to see how some of those high school grads have come on and done things like Kylie and helping lead, or April, and all these folks who are not only not leaving the church, which is a common issue sometimes when teenagers get a little bit older, graduate high school, tend to leave the church. But a lot of ours are not only not leaving the church, they're serving and helping and getting plugged in. And that's really cool to see. So
yeah, that's awesome.
It's going to be a good Sunday.
Yeah, we really just want to show families and grads that we love them, that we appreciate them, celebrate them, and let them know it's not the end of the journey. It's just beginning.
I love it.
Good deal.
So cool story, VBS. So when we were at the old campus, I got put with the second grade boys.
Are you volunteering?
No, I'm not
volunteering.
Okay. No, I
was like, did you know I have a hole there?
I'm just sharing a personal experience from second grade boys.
Oh, bless it.
Oh, yeah. So we had game time, and we had a field of grass beside the parking lot of the church, and we played dodgeball and all kinds of stuff out there. And so it's time to make our trip back to the church. And I don't know if you've ever tried to round up second grade boys
every Sunday.
Yeah,
but that's a struggle. And so they didn't particularly like me at the moment. And so I got them all in line, and we started around the mods to go in the church, and they started chanting, "Scott sucks, Scott sucks," at the top of their lungs. And I'm like, y'all can't do this. You gotta be. We're going inside. You gotta be quiet.
This is not where I thought this was going.
They're just like letting me
Please
have
do not
it.
cut this. This is the best thing ever.
They were just giving me down the road, and so it's
Brian didn't get a question this week, so we got time to fill.
So we can do that. But man, that was like, out of all my VBS moments, that's probably the most memorable. That
if
that
you'd
I
like
got
to recreate that, our second graders
Well,
would be my son, Grayson, Nicholas, Kelly, Samuel.
If you need a positive experience to redeem that and kind of balance out the negative, why don't you? I mean, maybe you should sign up for VBS.
He is. He's doing missions.
I'm doing missions. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm getting to share.
Okay.
I'm getting to share about going to Africa because we'll be going back in July. So
Well,
awesome.
I'll make sure nobody chants that you suck.
yes,
I was gonna say,
please
don't put 'em
because
in-
that's
We
not-
make no
that's-
promises,
Yeah,
Scott.
so I really don't suck, y'all. I mean, I don't.
This is the best day ever. Brian, I hope you're enjoying Gatlinburg.
Hey, well, we have got a great episode. Well, let's transition to get us back on track here. We got a great episode where Heather Lowery is going to tell us a beautiful story about God's intervention and how she came to adopt Carson. So it's a great episode. Stay tuned, and we're going to pass it to Nicole.
Hello, Liberty. It's Nicole, and I'm here to celebrate life at Liberty with you guys. So our birthdays this week are Donna Ridley, Nathan Pendergrass, Shannon Branham, Kim Daly, and Michelle Koneman, and we do not have any anniversaries this week. I have a final softball update for you. After a disappointing ending to the season, Liberty finished in 4th place with a 5-4-1 regular season record, and they lost their tournament game 19-12. But we would like to congratulate Fellowship Baptist Church for winning the championship in their inaugural season. And here's a shout out to the team. You all played a vital role in the 2025 spring season. Kyle Brock, Courtney Jones, Austin Williams, Clint Holzenbach, Kirsten Smith, Asa Smith, Titus Smith, Danny Miller, Levi Bly, Scott Young, Matthew Shoemake, Corbin Albertson, Zach Stafford, Jacob Vickery, and led by head coach Bryson Williams. The team would like to say thank you for the support from the church, family, and friends throughout the season, and they are looking forward to the Fall League. Sarah Sane, one of our youth, she had her final art showcase with the Murray Arts Council, the student art show this past weekend, but she won 2 awards, Most Thought-Provoking and Best in Show. So congrats to Sarah. I'm very proud of her. I have seen her work. I went to the show, and she is very talented. She does some welding art, and it's pretty incredible. Jody and Danny Miller closed on their home last week. We are so excited for them. We know they have been ready to get into the Dalton area, and so they are here. So congrats to you guys. And the women's ministry is giving them a housewarming shower. It will be following the Sunday, June 1st service in the fellowship hall. You can bring a finger food to share with everyone, and they are registered at Amazon and Target. And then our women's ministry also is having a prayer breakfast on May 31st at 9 a.m. And finally, our women's ministry has a new Bible study starting in June on the 4th, and it is our Wednesday night Bible study. They will be doing The Armor of God by Priscilla Schreier. You do need a book for the class, so if you will see Susan Vick, she can get you hooked up with that. Lots of things going on here at Liberty. We would love to celebrate them with you. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
So today we have Heather Lowery with us, and Heather has been at Liberty for how long?
I think since 2008,
Okay.
somewhere in there.
I met Heather. I knew her from here, from church, but also at Christian Heritage. She was our youngest daughter's teacher in the 6th grade, a math teacher. All right.
Math and science.
Math and science. Okay. And you're still at Christian Heritage, right?
I am. Still doing math and science in 6th grade.
And you're also a coach.
I coached basketball for 15 years, but
Yeah.
I haven't when I did coach some middle school basketball, but I haven't in a while, probably about 5 years, something like that.
Okay. So Heather has a unique story. And with it being Mother's Day month, I want everyone to know a little bit more about your story, Heather. So I know that when we met, probably, we were praying for a situation to come around for you to have a child.
Mm-hmm.
So would you kind of tell us a little bit about your story?
Sure. So I think when I was in my early 30s, I just felt the Lord kind of tugging on my heart for adoption. And even though I was single and still, praying that the Lord, one day would send a husband, he sent a little boy instead first, which was great. But I went through the adoption process probably for 4 years, got really discouraged, kind of went through some international adoptions, just different things happening, got really discouraged and really decided that I don't think this is what the Lord wants for me. Maybe I'm not ready. And so one weekend, I just pretty much decided I was going to take all the things that everybody had given me and put those back down somewhere else in my home. I was going to try to probably pull out of the whole situation, told my parents and everything. This all happened probably on a Friday, and then on a Sunday morning, I got home from church and got a call from the agency that I was working with that there was a little boy, and she needed me to call her as soon as possible because I needed to come get him in the next 24 hours. And so that caused a lot of panic.
Yeah.
But a lot of emotions, a lot of joy, a lot of I've been waiting for this for so long, and I'd given up, and that just shows you when you give up on the Lord, He doesn't really give up on you at all. So I went the very next day. It was the longest ride probably of my life. It was a 5-hour ride. I've never been in labor, but I felt like I was in labor. I was getting very sick to my stomach and just whatever. And then we, pulled in and we met at a different location, and my caseworker brought him, and he, I don't know what the Lord had in store for me, but I do know that in this whole process, I really, for whatever reason, saw a little dark-haired boy with dark eyes. And, Carson is part Latino. And I get there, he's got a head full of dark hair. He's got the biggest brown eyes. So
yeah, and his skin's beautifully dark.
Yes. So the rest is history. I'm very grateful to his birth mother for choosing to give him life. I mean, she very well could have said, I'm not going to do this, but she chose to give him life and, allowed me to be his mother.
And God's timing is impeccable.
Yes.
In those kind of situations.
Yes. I obviously wouldn't have been ready the other times. I mean, I wanted it to happen, we wanted it to happen not in God's timing, but our timing.
Exactly.
But obviously I wasn't ready, and He knew when I was.
Right.
So.
Well, and he was creating Carson just perfectly for you.
Yes.
And for your life. So what's it been like adopting Carson and not being married?
It has... I would say for any single mother, it's always the load is on you, of course, to do lots of things. But and it is something that as he has grown up, he has asked about a father, and we've talked about those things when the Lord makes that right, that's that would be great, but we're not going to push something that is whatever the Lord has in plan for us is what we're going to take. So I think he's had, a little struggle because he goes around, he might see people with fathers and things like that. But the Lord has placed a lot of men in his life, I think, that have been very good mentors from here at our church, to our family, to friends, neighbors that I think have played an integral part of his life as far as mentoring him. So I'm not, while I think that has been different for him, I think he's had special people that have really invested in him.
Yeah, Carson is a boy's boy. I mean, he's a boy.
He's a boy. Yeah. Loves outdoors. Likes snakes. Will pick up a snake.
Yes.
Loves some football and wrestling. He is a boy's boy.
Yeah.
He loves it. Yeah.
And Carson's a little entrepreneur too.
He is. He has a little chicken business, egg business. Sells eggs and saving money for a car. He mows and makes some money off that. So, and he's very good with his money for a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
he's a blessing.
So, what's life been like for you as a mom?
Well, I would say busy. I would say that I'm his chauffeur. I'm just here. I'm along for the ride, if you will. But I mean, I think it's blessed me to learn, he is very he really strives to do what the Lord wants him to do. He sometimes puts too much pressure on himself, but I think it shows me that it's important for me to do that as well. When I get in my little, ruts of I just want to keep to myself, and I watch him open up and read his Bible every morning before he goes to school. So it's I think for us, it just has been we have a good relationship. It's not perfect, he's a middle school boy. Their brains leave for a while, but I think that he truly loves the Lord and truly strives to do what is right, and I think that has helped us in our home and in our life, where he's not perfect, but he's just a good kid.
But he's had a good model.
Well, he's had a lot of good models. I mean, if you go back and you think of the people here at church that he has really, Corbin Alberson's been a really big mentor for him. Your husband, he has really had some key people here, key people in my family, just friends that have really come alongside of him. So anyway, but he's a great kid.
So for you, it's kind of like it's Carson's world, and you're just
I'm living in it. I'm living in it. We're playing football, we're wrestling. Well, he is. I'm not. Yeah. He's playing football. He's wrestling.
Well, you really are. I mean.
Well, I'm in the stands, and then he's gone a lot with his friends. He's outgoing. He really enjoys to be with people. He really enjoys to be involved in different things. He is one of those people that he's fine wherever he is.
Right.
He would be fine sitting at home. Watching a movie, playing a video game, or he enjoys going to all the things at church. He goes to other things with other friends at church. He goes to people's houses, hangs out. He's a chill guy.
Yeah, he is. He's very, and he's funny. Yeah. He has a great sense of humor.
Yeah,
he really does.
He does.
So, what would you tell moms who are, who maybe can't have a baby, who are wanting to adopt, or even someone who is single who wants to maybe think about adopting? What would you tell someone?
Well, I think that I think it's a calling, first of all. Like I felt very called to do it. I still don't really know why, other than just me and Carson. I think it's a calling, and I think that I've had lots of friends who have adopted kids. I have friends who are adopted. And I think that you don't realize how special adoption is till you're in it.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I think that if you're at a place where, you feel called to adopt or trying to have children or whatever, there are so many kids.
There are.
You just don't realize it. Whether you can get, hooked up with an agency, or, a friend who knows someone who is, having a baby but can't take care of them. There's a lot of kids out there being born that need homes.
Yeah.
And, if I could take 20, I would, but I can't. But I just would say, the Lord, we always talked about, we read books when Carson was younger to help him to understand adoption. And we always talked about how the Lord adopted us into his kingdom.
Exactly.
And so that's what I would say to anyone. You're giving back what has been done for you.
I think it is one of the most beautiful expressions of love.
Yes.
To me, is adoption. And our story. My husband adopted our oldest daughter because I'd had her when I was 17. So we know what that feels like from one perspective of it.
Right.
And it is a beautiful story.
Yes.
It can truly be absolutely beautiful when people open their hearts up to that thought and that to the adoption.
Right.
And looking at it from the perspective of we are adopted into his family.
Yes.
And you've never, you and Carson don't look alike. I mean, he's dark complected, dark hair. You do have dark eyes, but so you've always you've never told him any differently from being adopted.
Right. No, we started young. We started talking very young when we read, I can't remember the name of the book, but it was about an animal and how it explained adoption. He, from that moment, we talked about that. He understood it. Did he always get it and understand it completely and not have? He's a questioning guy. Like, he'll question you to death. And so I think he just I think he had lots of questions, but he understood, what it was about, what it meant. He did question, why did my birth mother give me up? Well, we don't really know we don't really have all those answers. But we just really kept in communication and really tried to make sure that we talked about it a lot, prayed about it. So he understood it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't
Exactly.
somebody was giving him up. It was
Right.
just, they needed something different for him that they couldn't offer at that time.
Right. And that's beautiful the way you presented that.
Yeah.
Very pretty. So what is the greatest lesson you've learned in motherhood that you would want other mothers to know?
I think that one of the biggest things is you don't have to do it all. And I think, especially with him being adopted, I felt like I had to do much more just to make it right for him. But I think that it's just, I always worried about making sure we did this, making sure we did that, making sure we were at every, I had him at every church thing, making sure that I did it all. You're not going to do it all right. You're not. You're going to mess up, and you're going to learn and, get better. I think that that's something that he and I have both had to do because it's just me and him that, I've had to say, okay, we didn't do that. I didn't do that right.
Right.
I'm going to have to do something different. Let me backtrack a little bit. So I think you just learn as you go. You're going to mess up.
Yeah.
And then you just figure it out and,
Well, I think you said a key word a moment ago when you were talking about how you and Carson had communicated about this and you left that communication open. I think communication is the key as a
Yes.
parent with a child.
Yes, agreed. And he is very open with me, and I always want him to be. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you don't have to tell me all that, but okay. But you want him to be open with you, so you don't want to be like. So that's been the biggest thing. Is he's a talker. He likes to talk. He likes to sit and figure stuff out. And so he would. That's the thing that we do. So if there's an issue, he wants to talk it out, which is good. So. Anyway.
Well, that's good. So Heather, I want to thank you for taking the time to be with us today and talking about the adoption. It's something that's so beautiful and bringing Carson into our lives too, because he has been a blessing. I know my husband thinks that he's one of the greatest things ever. But I do want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for, showing mothers what it means to truly love, because I think sometimes mothers struggle.
Yeah.
But you've presented that very well. And I
you.
appreciate that too. And you've been a great role model for all of us.
Well, thank you.
So, thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. You have a good day.
Okay, thanks, you too.